You left the system, or at least you tried to. No boss, no schedule, no limits. So you went online to build something for yourself. Now you check views every day. You watch reach, you follow trends, and if it drops, your income drops with it. You didn't escape the system, you just changed what controls you. You start with a clear intention. Build something that's yours, something independent. You pick a platform, you create content, you test ideas. It feels open, flexible. You can choose what to make, when to post, how to approach it. That's the appeal. No fixed schedule, no one telling you what to do. You work when you want, you stop when you want. That's how it looks at the start. You're building on your own terms. You experiment with formats. You try different angles. You learn what gets attention. You start noticing patterns. Certain topics perform better. Certain styles get more reach. So you adjust. Not because you have to, because it works. You lean into what gets results. You refine your approach. You post more consistently. You check performance, views, clicks, watch time. You're not being forced. You're responding to feedback. That's what it feels like. You're learning the system. You're getting better at it. You're not following rules. You're discovering them. And each time something works, it reinforces the behavior. You're moving forward. That's the routine. Create, post, check results, adjust, repeat. Nothing feels restrictive. It feels like progress. This is the part that feels free. It feels like freedom because you chose it. That's the belief holding everything together. You're not assigned tasks. You decide what to make. You're not evaluated by a manager. You're evaluated by results. That feels cleaner, more honest. If something works, it means you did something right. If it doesn't, you adjust. That's the logic. You're in control of the process. You're not locked into a role. You can pivot anytime, change direction, try something new. That flexibility feels like leverage. You're not tied to one path. You can follow what works. That's what makes it feel different from a job. In a job, you follow instructions.
Here, you follow outcomes. That feels like autonomy. You're not waiting for permission. You're reacting in real time. You can improve faster, move faster. That's the belief. The system is open. You just need to learn how it works. And once you do, you can shape it to your advantage. That's what keeps you engaged. Every result feels like feedback. Every drop feels like a signal. You're not stuck. You're adapting. That's what it feels like. You're building something responsive, something dynamic, something that grows with your effort. That belief makes the routine feel flexible, like you're in control. The system doesn't reward independence, it rewards responsiveness. Every platform has signals, views, clicks, retention, reach. And those signals don't measure what you want to build, they measure what keeps attention. That's the alignment. The more closely you follow those signals, the more the system rewards you. So you adjust, you test what gets clicks, you refine what holds attention, you repeat what performs. Not because you're told to, because the results make it obvious. When something works, it gets pushed. When it doesn't, it disappears. That's the feedback loop. And over time, it becomes precise. You don't just create what you want, you create what works inside the system. The system trains you, quietly. Each successful post narrows your range. Each failure removes an option. You're not forced into a direction, you're guided into one. And the more consistent you become, the more dependent you become on that alignment. Because once your income is tied to performance, performance becomes the priority. Not independence, not flexibility, performance. And performance depends on staying inside what the system rewards. That's how the alignment tightens. You're not building outside the system, you're building deeper inside it. Nothing about this felt like a commitment at the start. You could always pivot, change platforms, change content, try something new. That's what made it feel open. But what you gained in flexibility, you traded in stability. The moment something starts working, you lean into it. Not because you're forced to, but because it's the only thing producing results. So you repeat it, you optimize it, you build around it. And slowly, that becomes your lane. Not by decision, by reinforcement. The more it works, the harder it becomes to step away from it. Because stepping away means risking your income. That's the trade-off. You're free to choose anything, but only a few things actually pay. And once you depend on those, they stop feeling optional. They become necessary. You didn't lock yourself into a role, you narrowed into one through results. And unlike a job, there's no baseline, no guaranteed outcome. So you don't just maintain performance, you protect it constantly. Because if it drops, there's nothing underneath it.
That's the shift. You didn't remove constraints, you replaced fixed ones with moving ones. And moving constraints are harder to see, but harder to escape. The pressure doesn't come from a boss, it comes from fluctuation. Your income isn't fixed, it moves day to day, post to post. That becomes the signal you react to. If something performs, you repeat it. If it drops, you adjust. That sounds flexible, but it creates a different kind of constraint. Your decisions start orbiting stability, not creative choice, not independence, stability. You don't just ask, what do I want to build? You ask, what will hold performance? That question reshapes everything. Topics narrow, formats repeat, risk decreases. Not because you want less freedom, because freedom now carries volatility, and volatility threatens income. That's the mechanism. The system doesn't tell you what to do. It makes certain choices feel safer than others. And over time, you stop exploring, not consciously, gradually. You protect what works. You avoid what might disrupt it. That protection becomes automatic. You don't notice it. It feels like discipline, like focus, like you're being strategic. But the effect is the same. Your range compresses, your decisions tighten, and the system becomes the reference point. Not your original intent, not your idea of freedom, the system. At first, it feels like you have more freedom. You can post anytime, change direction, try new ideas. But each of those options carries risk. If it doesn't perform, your reach drops. If your reach drops, your income follows. So every decision runs through the same filter. Will this hold performance? Will this keep momentum? That's where the compression starts. You still have options, but fewer of them feel usable. Fewer of them feel safe enough to act on. So you repeat what works. Not once, consistently. You build around it. You depend on it. And the more you depend on it, the harder it becomes to change it, because change threatens stability. And stability now carries everything. There's no floor underneath it, no fixed baseline, just continuation. So your flexibility narrows, not because the system removes options, because it makes most of them feel too risky to take. That's the shift. You didn't lose freedom all at once. You filtered it down until only one path feels viable. This is where independence starts to feel fragile. You didn't escape control. You made it continuous. Now it doesn't turn off, and neither does what depends on it.